Hi everyone, Reverend Dr. Katie here. We had a great question come in and I want to be sure to address that. And that question was around the nature of what we call God. And out there in the metaphysical crowd, you hear lots of different names for this infinite source of everything. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. What do we do with that as Christians? And that is one of the key reasons actually why I created this group. And I am broadcasting this in the Metaphysical Christian on Facebook. If you don't happen to be there, come join us. This is a wonderful group, 5,000 people strong, who are all exploring these questions together. And so this is, I think, one of the key things that makes this group, that makes us, that makes people like us a little bit distinct, because we are really claiming a Christian journey. We're claiming to be followers of Jesus. We're not claiming it. We are followers of Jesus. We claim Jesus in a very particular way. And a lot of the metaphysical crowd doesn't do that the same way that we do. Most of the people I know have no problem with Jesus. They really like Jesus, but they don't see Jesus in the same way that maybe you and I do. And in a variety of ways, within this group, even we have some diversity, but by and large, we base our lives, the way we live our lives, on the teachings, the ministry, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And in the metaphysical world, they're doing great things. This is not necessarily a critique, it's just a difference. What I have found is that the metaphysical world doesn't talk about Jesus the same way. The kind of the other non-Christian metaphysical world tends to talk about Jesus as one among many, one among equal. And then the names for God are kind of all over the place, not in a bad way, but you just hear a lot of diversity in the names for God. I like diversity, you all know that. But that kind of leaves Jesus followers in a little bit like between the rock and the hard place, right? Like, are we betraying our faith by not just saying the words that we know that resonate with us the most? Or, should we be inclusive? Like, how should this all work? And again, that's one of the reasons I actually created this group, because I found that the metaphysical crowd was pretty hostile to Jesus followers, especially claiming Jesus as a savior, really rooting one's life in the heart of Jesus and connecting to that in a very specific way. And then a lot of the Christian crowd, doesn't do metaphysics. And if you say the word chakra, people run for the door and then they're casting stones. And so we have this really sweet little niche spot, and here we are. And that's kind of one of the reasons I created this group. And so I really encourage people to claim the language that works the most for you and be open to new language. Many times Christians get in a little box about what we call God, about what we call Jesus, how we think about that. So I definitely encourage us to expand our box, but there's also no reason to give up those names. There's no reason that you can't talk about Jesus as the Christ, as the Messiah, as part of your life. And of course, we see Jesus as a master energy worker who is also encouraging us to do the same thing in our own lives, also encouraging us to really look very closely at these quantum realities so that we can continue that work. And part of the reason is that this is really important for Christians is because we're all called to build that particular kingdom, that Jesus came here to show us how to do that. And then we're taking all the tools, all the wonderful loving kindness that Jesus showed us, and we're expanding that outward in the world. I believe when that happens in any kind of way, it's a really good thing. And I believe that Christ is present. But for us, for those of us who choose to be Jesus followers, we do that really as with Jesus as a conscious companion to us, with us, and we're doing that step in step. When we're doing healing work, when we're doing Jesus work, when we are shining our vibration in a really high, strong way, not in a way that's oppressive, not in a way that's shaming anyone, not in a way that's guilting anyone. We're not out there to like proselytize to everyone about how our way is right and other ways are wrong. That's not what it's about. If y'all spend any time with me, then you know that's not what I'm about at all. But it's about living our lives the way Jesus showed us how, and then taking that to the next level, right? Taking that out into the world, really participating in building what we call the beloved kingdom. So when other names that people have for this energy that we call God, that we know to be God, and God, through the person of Jesus Christ, taught us these very special things. You know what? Other people have their own language. It's okay. There's no reason to. I don't need to get into that necessarily. What's much more important to me is what you call those names, that it resonates very, very strongly with you. And of course, God works, like God created all these different laws that we talk about, the law of attraction, these quantum realities that we use as we're manifesting the best reality. God created all of those. So God is in all of that, but also beyond. And what lies beyond that is what we don't know. And that's part of the mystery of being a Christian that I find just beautiful. Like there's things out there that we don't know, that we're not going to know in this particular incarnation, in this dimension. Those are things beyond. So God exists in all of that, but God also exists beyond all of that. And who knows what's beyond all of that, all these great things that we're waiting to learn. So one of the things that I claim really strongly in the work that I do and the people that I work with, and I just think it's something you should know about me, is I do claim Jesus as my Savior. You know, I root my life in the teachings of Jesus. And I think other people have had really great things to say that I pay attention to. So there are other teachers out there who have lived, who have taught humanity wonderful things. I think God was present in their lives, and I'm totally okay with that, but I don't turn to them to root my life in their particular teachings. And so for me in particular, Christ consciousness is a word that gets tossed out there a lot, and nothing wrong with the word, but it's not quite enough for me. It's not quite enough for a lot of you who are in this group. Really want to talk about like the person of Jesus, who Jesus is in particular, and how that informs our lives. And for me, it informs every single thing that I do. And it, you know, whether there's other right ways to go about it, it for me is beside the point, because the only way I can go about it is as a Jesus follower. Okay, so hoping that that all makes sense. And if you have some questions, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box so that I can refer to that. I would love to know what your experience is. For those who are just tuning in, hey everyone, I see some people just joined us. We're talking about the different languages that we use to refer to God, that we use to refer to Jesus. And I'm just telling you all where I kind of land in this spectrum, and that's that I do claim Jesus as my Savior and God as the creator of everything. And within that everything are all these different energies. You know, there's the energy that we call Reiki. There's an energy that we call angels. There's an energy that we call spirits. There's an energy that we call mediumship, right? There's all these different energies that are all funneling in through God, who we know to be the creator of everything in this universe and beyond. And who knows what's beyond. And when we can really tap into that energy at a deep level, at a high level, at an intuitive level, that's when the magic really begins to happen. And so does God care what names you call God? Probably not. We know our intention, but I know so many people who feel like they're betraying their faith if they're not using the language that resonates the most with them. So I do think that that's really important, and that's going to be different for everyone. And I'm here to support you in your journey and finding what works for you. Those of you for whom this is making a lot of sense, you're like, right, the metaphysical crowd doesn't know who Jesus is in the same way that I do. The Christian, some of the Christian crowd just don't know what to do with me because I want to talk about chakras, and they don't know how to teach me that. You're right here. You're in a great spot. You're in the sweet spot where we're doing all of these things at once. And what I try to do for all of you, my mission, is to bring you the very best, to bring you the very, very best in the spiritual metaphysical world, the very best of the Christian tradition, the very best in New Testament scholarship, where I hang my hat in the scholarly world. So all of those things combined in this beautiful nexus, and here we are, here you are, we're all doing this together. So for those of you for whom this is making a lot of sense, for whom you're like, yeah, I'm kind of ready to take the next step, and you trust yourself to be in this beautiful sweet spot as a metaphysical Christian, the exact name of our group, then maybe you are ready for the next step. See if that resonates with you. If so, I would love to be able to speak with you, because I've worked with just beautiful souls now for the past couple of years who have let me know that they're able to reconcile like being a Christian, the metaphysical journey, like all of that comes together for them in beautiful ways. And when it does, you can really start to live with freedom. You can start to live with the freedom that Jesus promised us. For freedom, Christ came to us. Christ didn't come so that we would continue to be bound up, so that we continue to be guilty, so we'd continue to be shamed, so we wouldn't be able to put the pieces together. Jesus came so we could put all those pieces together. So I do want to mention I am having this pilot program. It's going to be debuting really, really, really soon. And if you want to get in at the ground level with all the beautiful bonuses and all that kind of stuff, now really is the best time for that. So reach out to me so that we can just be in conversation, see if that's a good fit for you to explore metaphysics as a Christian. You don't have to leave Jesus behind. You never have to leave Jesus behind. Jesus gets to go with you every step of the way. Yeah, let's see what those next steps are for you. You can private message me. You can comment below that you're interested, and I will send you an email or message through Messenger. If you do that, make sure that you check the little message request because otherwise the message will go into like a filtered mailbox for you. If you want to email me, you can do that too. Katie, Katy, at katievalentine.com. I love this comment. Jesus was a light worker. Absolutely. Yes, I love it. All right, everyone. That is it for today. If this is making sense, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. If you want in some information and to get in the ground level of the pilot program, let me know. Let me know this week. Let me know by Friday at the very, very latest. So I would love to give you more information about that. All right, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.